I'm just going to record and we'll see what happens. So Grammie, what's your full name and why did your parents choose this name for you? Do you know?
My name is what you know, Olga. That's it.
That's it.
That's it. It was Olga Neeson before I was married.
Mm-hmm.
Didn't have any middle name.
Did your siblings have middle names?
Some of them did. They named my sister my grandmother's maiden name, so she's Vera Bancroft Neeson.
Okay.
And Arthur, he was named like his granddad, he's Arthur John. And Clifford, I don't think he had a second name either. So we got gypped.
And so where in the birth order were you?
Where?
Where in the birth order were you?
I was the third one.
Okay, and who was oldest?
What?
Who was the firstborn?
Arthur John.
Yeah.
Then Clifford.
And then you and then
Then
Vera.
me, and then Vera.
Mm-hmm. And where were you born?
Somewhere in Manchester, but I can't tell you the exact.
Was it in a hospital or no?
I'm not sure because my mother did have some of her babies at home. She told me that.
Mm-hmm.
So I think maybe I was born at home.
And did you only live in one house when you were growing up that you remember?
Yes, I guess my mother moved when I was just little, and I don't remember that. We used to live in Old Elmer Street. Then we moved over to Gotha Street. But it was just around the corner, like, you know.
Mm-hmm.
So those are the two places where I lived, yeah.
And how did your family come to live there?
Oh, I don't know. They bought a fish and chip place just around on the main road. They had a fish and chip shop there.
Your mom and dad?
Yeah. So they did that for a while. I don't know how they come to live there. I don't know.
Do you remember them having a fish and chips place?
I remember some things.
Yeah.
Like I remember seeing these big pails of chips already cooked, ready to go, but they were in water so they won't go black, you know.
Mm-hmm.
They're in white enamel buckets. And so they used to have a lot of them around, you know.
And did you have other family members in the area, like your grandparents or aunts and uncles? Or?
Not right close. Not too far away, mind you, but not right. They weren't right around the corner or anything, you know.
Mm-hmm.
My mother's sister lived a little ways away, and then my grandmother, she lived further away too.
And did you see them very often?
Yes, I did.
Yeah. So what was your house like when you were growing up? Was it very big? Did it have electricity or indoor
No.
plumbing or?
No, the house was not very big, and we didn't have hydro, and we didn't have indoor plumbing. We didn't have hot water.
Oh my goodness, what did you have?
Cold water. And we had to heat it up, you know.
How did you do that?
Pardon?
How did you do that?
Well, for like laundry day, my mother had a copper boiler. It's just about the size of a washing machine, but it's not electric. It's just, and I think it's run by gas, because everything in the house was gas, the gas light, and she would turn that on to get the water hot after she put the water in it, you know. When the water was hot and the soap and that, she'd throw everything in there and just let it boil away. Keep stirring it.
Wow.
Fishing things out that shouldn't be in there too long, you know. No, we didn't have electricity. Now the outside toilet was better than what you think. You just went out the kitchen door and it had been added on outside, but it was inside, you know what I mean?
Okay.
And that was our toilet. We used to have to pull the chain. The tank was up high and the chain hung down. You pulled the chain if you wanted to flush it, you know.
So it was a flush toilet?
It was a flush toilet.
Yeah.
Yeah. That was one nice thing. We had fireplaces in the house to keep the house warm. We had the one in the kitchen and dining, it was the kitchen dining room area. Then there was one in the room next to it, which we call the parlour. That was our room where we had the best furniture and that, if you had company. And then upstairs in my dad's bedroom, there was another fireplace in there. Well, they were just little ones, but enough to heat the room if anybody was sick or something, you know.
So did you have to bring in wood to?
No, they were run by coal.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, yeah.
Hmm.
They did something to the coal as the years went on. It wasn't just the black, shiny coal. They were made into like briquettes, you know, a little bit cleaner to burn. But they threw off a nice heat. And in the morning, Dad would get up early and get the fire going so that when we got up to go to school, we could toast our toast in front of the fire.
Oh.
That's the way we toasted our bread. We had a long toasting fork and just held it in front of the red glows of the fire.
Oh.
It was a lovely toast. But that's how we made our toast in the morning.
Nice.
Yeah. I gave Duck the toasting fork.
You still had it?
Yes.
Really?
My dad gave it me.
Oh.
And Doug usually hangs things up on his beams and that, you know.
Yeah.
So I thought Doug would keep it more than anybody I know, you know.
Yeah.
So he's got it. Yeah.
No, that's interesting. Do you, other than the toasting forks, are there any special items in that house that you remember?
What was that noise?
That was my phone.
Oh, are you going to answer it?
No.
Oh. There was, what was it you asked me?
Just if there was any special items that you remember, like you said that the parlor was a special room, and so did you have special furniture in there?
Well, that
or?
was the newest furniture. We bought a couch and a chair, and there was a table in there, and then when anyone come to visit us, we'd take them in there instead of where we lived all week long, you know. It was a little bit nicer. And if it was cold, we'd have a fire on, you know.
Mm-hmm.
So that's why we called it the parlor. Some people called it the front room. Anyway, one thing I remember about what my mother used was a brown, like a glazed crockery pot that she used to use inside that little oven on the side of the fireplace. The fireplace had an oven on the side. And oh, she made the best rice pudding that you ever tasted, you know.
That sounds wonderful.
Yeah, and she'd make a stew in there, make a lovely stew in there, you know. Make dumplings and put them on the top and let the dumplings brown, you know.
Oh.
People
Making me
over here
hungry.
don't, huh?
Making me hungry.
Yeah, they don't know what dumplings are over here. Not compared with what we had, anyway. Yeah, she was very good. She always cooks a good hot meal. Yeah.
So did you share a room with your sister then?
The bedroom?
Yeah.
You wouldn't like this, but actually we shared my mom and dad's bedroom. That's how short a space we were.
Yeah.
Mom and dad had their bed, and then me and Vera slept together in a bed.
Mm-hmm.
A 3/4 bed. They had the double bed.
And then your brothers had a room?
And there was a bedroom for the brothers. And then there was a little wee room that was not used much for anything, but Arthur, he liked to be particular, you know, so he fixed up that little room for him.
Oh.
He even made his own little curtains put on the window.
Wow.
Bought a little bed, and he had that as a bedroom, his bedroom, and then Clifford had the other room. It made it easier for me when Roy was invited to stay overnight before we were married. And so he slept in that room where Clifford was, because Clifford was in the army by then, you know. So he gave a spare room for Roy there when he come down. But, no, we didn't have much space.
What would you say is your earliest childhood memory?
My earliest childhood memory, in what way?
Well, how old were you when you remember, like, do you remember things from when you were like 3 or 4 or?
Probably 3 or 4, yeah.
Yeah, and what do you remember?
Well, I remember a lot of things. I remember once my granddad coming to see us, and it wasn't very often because he died when I was only little, you know.
This
And I
would be your mom's dad or your dad's
I
dad?
think it was my mother's dad,
Mm-hmm.
who was a short fella. That's why my mother was short, I guess. He'd sit me on his knee, and you know, in the old days they wore those suits with a waistcoat underneath. Lots of times they'd have a pocket watch, you know, so I sat on his knee and I played with his watch chain. And if I was eating something, I'd put crumbs in his pocket. Yeah, I remember that. Unfortunately, we didn't have too many memories of Granddad, you know.
What about your mom's mom?
Yeah, we knew her, we had a lot of memories of her, even though she was an invalid, you know. She was a diabetic, my mom's mom, and she'd had both her legs taken off.
Oh.
Yeah, so when we went to see Grandma, she was always in bed. Sometimes we'd take her out in a sort of a wheelchair, but it was an old-fashioned type, you know. And she'd have a blanket on her legs. But no, she had both her legs off. And then she went in the hospital. When she went in to get the second one off, that was when she died. Excuse me for a minute.